I became a dad at 18, got diagnosed with ADHD at 49, and somewhere between those two moments, I learned that life doesn't wait for you to have it all figured out. Hi, I'm Michael Maxwell, and this is Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell. Chaos to clarity. Every week, we're going to cut through the noise, talking about stuff that actually matters, like ADHD, relationships, marriage, parenting, friendship, mental health, anxiety, depression, finance, physical health, the real stuff. Real talk. Zero fluff. Tools that you can use today. Welcome to the conversation. Now, my chaos moments usually went like, dang, I didn't get to do the ledger again or the insurance checks that Kim asked me to do. Now, what you don't know is that in my day job, I'm the billing department for my wife's mental health practice. So I call the insurance companies, I do benefits and eligibility, and when I don't do my part, invoices get delayed. Sometimes they don't even get paid. And that's a real burden on the practice and definitely a burden on my wife because it's really her job. It's her clinic. And that's kind of messed up. But I'll tell you this, like after my diagnosis, it really made sense. I would always procrastinate and I would avoid things, just push them back as far as I could, just back until I couldn't avoid them anymore. And then I was stuck. It was like, the carrot or the stick. I'd always wait till it stick. But that turned out to be just a symptom of my ADHD. Now, before I knew I had ADHD, I thought I was just like messed up, kind of broken. There were just these patterns, things that kept happening over and over and over, and I just couldn't figure out why. It'd be the same thing, same result. You want to do something and it just doesn't happen. And like, for example, like missing a deadline with a tax examiner, and not just missing it, but like with real bad consequences like fines and penalties, or forgetting to pay like a $38 bill that goes to collections and messed up my credit profile for a minute. Like stupid stuff like that, like really ridiculous things like that would happen. And I have countless examples of you have to call this person by this time, and you swear you're going to remember, and then you forget. And sometimes it just gets repetitive. And I was done. Just if something got repetitive, I was done with it. Like jobs, tasks, you name it. Like I really got bored. And what I really liked was interacting with other people. And so when I was at work, that was really cool. But now work changed. Now I work from home. And that's been super difficult. Because most of our interactions are with my son. And don't get me wrong, I love him. I love that I get to be with him a lot. But I don't have any interaction with other human adults. Like most days, none. And that's nuts to me. Because most of my friends are professionals. Not many of them have the kind of freedom I do, the kind of latitude, I guess you will, that I do with the day and the things that I can get away with. Now, my turning point, I guess, my breaking point, here's the funny thing about it when things shifted for me. There's this YouTube channel that I watch called Abba and Preach. And Abba was sharing how he came to learn that he had ADHD. And while he was discussing his journey, I found myself thinking like, hey, this sounds awful familiar. Like I think he was talking about a reaction that he did because someone that reacted to a reaction that he did to them, and that person was discussing how they had ADHD, and that kind of colored their behaviors. And he was kind of like, nah. But then as he listened more and more, he kind of started hearing himself in their story. So he then went on to ask his clinician or therapist, I'm getting this wrong, some of it. But he basically sought like professional opinion regarding himself, and he found out that he had ADHD. And listening to that, while I'm hearing him, I'm saying to myself, man, that sounds kind of familiar. So I kind of really was like, yo, maybe I should look into that. And I did. So after watching the show and having some thoughts of my own, later that day, I mentioned it to my wife, who was, as you know, who is a licensed therapist. She's actually really good. That's just not me saying it because, that's my opinion. I'm actually saying it because it's true. And so her words were, and I quote, "I've been told you that years ago." And I was like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, well, I just thought you were messing with me. So I didn't really take it too serious. And I'll just let you know right now, if I pause or anything like that, or if you see me look off, it's just I have to interact with my computer every now and again. So we talked a bit, and she had me take a test. And there's no passing or failing with this test. It's just about, what's probable. And well, based on the test, I checked the boxes. And with that, my wife then said, well, I can't treat you or actually diagnose you, because there are conflicts with that. So what she ended up doing was she referred me to an associate of hers who is a psychiatrist. And I was like, I'm not going to lie. I was feeling a little like, yo, I don't want to do this. But I know I needed to do it. So I did it. And it was grueling. I took a test. I think it was like 45 minutes or 90 minutes. I can't even remember, but it was a long test. And I did not disappoint. Like, I checked all the boxes, like high marks, top of the charts high. Like, really top of the charts high. Just let that sink in for a second. And I remember the psychiatrist asking me about executive function. And she was talking about this pyramid of executive function, like time management, organization, planning. And I was just like, I looked dead in her face. Well, it was a Zoom call, but I looked right in the camera to let her know, like, those concepts do not exist in my universe. I mean, at all. My time management is terrible. I am not a planner, and my organization is, I'm not cussing, but whatever. But just speaking of this right now, it's actually making me tense. I can feel it on my shoulders, but I'm gonna let it go because that's who I used to be. That's not who I am in this moment. So now, the diagnosis moment. Like, when I got the official diagnosis, it was really a relief. Like my world made sense. Like, it felt like I was being seen for like the first time because it didn't come with judgment or expectation or disappointment. But I'm gonna be honest, it came with grief. There was some grief because, you look back. You look back over all the balls that you dropped and all the problems that it caused and all the drama, and you feel bad, for something. It was out of my control at the time, but I felt bad about it because it didn't have to be, but I didn't know. So I didn't have the knowledge at the time. But they say hindsight is 20/20. So of course, looking back, I'm like, yeah. Wish I could have done this different. Wish I'd have done this different. But the truth of the matter is, I did the best that I could. And after getting the diagnosis, I kind of, in the retrospect, you looked at signs that you missed and what helped. Like, I definitely did not connect how my procrastination was rooted in my ADHD. And many times, I honestly thought of myself, I thought that I was lazy and I thought that I was selfish and I thought that I was responsible. Here's the thing. Those aren't really my thoughts, but because that's what it looked like. And when the people that you disappoint confront you with their feelings, and that's the way it's presented. They present it to you like that. So we're talking about coworkers or friends, lovers, just no one was safe from the symptoms. So, and you look back and like people are telling you things and you're just like, wow, is that really, you almost take on the identity. So I got to shake off the identity, if that makes sense, because I come to find out like, yo, my brain just works a little different and that's okay. And the thing about that is with ADHD, my version of it anyway, because it can be little variations from person to person. The thing that I need is so uncomfortable to embrace, and that is structure and systems. And these things are super counterintuitive to the ADHD brain. Like for me, it's literally painful. There is no exaggeration. Like that is the fact. It hurts. Now, let's be honest. How many of you actually lean into pain? Honestly, like lean into pain. Hopefully that helps someone listening understand a little bit more and not take it personal if you've been on the receiving end of ADHD, and someone who is understanding maybe for the first time that they may be ADHD, give themselves a little grace. And the truth of the matter is this is just how, it's not personal. This is just how we are before, we learn that we have ADHD and we find, treatment. There is hope. It does get better. So, I just want to leave you with that. So please don't take it personal. Our shortcomings, it's nothing personal. Now, where I am now, I'm not on any medications yet. I haven't been cleared to receive medications. That's a whole other story. And it's not a bad one. It's just another one. And I think we'll call that episode, My ADHD Diagnosis Probably Saved My Life. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. That might be episode 2. We might go with that for episode 2. I haven't been to therapy over it. It's just been more like, coaching, like suggestions that I've been given from my wife and from my psychiatrist. Falls more along the lines of like creating systems in order to cover the blind spots that happen, because they come often and they happen a lot. Now, the things that help me, I rest more. I pay attention to that. I'm starting to exercise, and for me, the foods that I eat, I'm eating differently. I've actually become vegetarian, and not for nothing. It's no judgment. Do whatever works best for you. I'm not telling you what you have to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Now, here's the thing that used to happen, right? Why rest? Rest is the main thing, because I would procrastinate almost in a rebellious state all day. And after my wife came home from work, because, I work during the day and I also watch our son. When she comes home, like she spends a little time with him, she puts him to bed, and she hangs out with me for a little bit. And then she goes upstairs to bed to read, to whatever. And then I would stay downstairs almost like I'm trying to reclaim time, like try to have some time to myself, because again, it's nuts. My only interaction for the most part of the days with my son is like a toddler. It's not, and I can't watch what I want to watch. I can't listen to what I want to listen to. Everything basically caters to him. So I'd lose a lot of time, and then I try to make that time back. I would even procrastinate about going to sleep. Sometimes I go to bed 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got to wake up at 6 the next day, which is ridiculous. So rest is a big part of it for me. And also like being kind to yourself, because, things are going to slip past you. They are, it's a work in progress. I haven't perfected it. I'm still working on it, so I'm improving. And those are facts, not fiction. I write things down now. My planner has moved me from like, sometimes I would drop the ball maybe 6 to 8 times a day. But now with my planner, now that I'm writing things down, I'm kind of setting an agenda for my day. I drop the ball maybe 3 to 4 times. And that may not mean much to you, but that's pretty significant to me. That's very important to me. And it's showing up. There are days that are better than others. It's a process. I'm working on it, but it shows up in my work now. It shows up in my day now. Like I'm actually way more productive now than I've been. And it also helps that now that I have the diagnosis, my wife understands that it's not personal, and she's definitely been more patient, which helps me a lot. And as far as like how it affects me with work and with relationships, well, my wife has told me that I've been doing a really good job with the billing lately. So there's that. And I've also launched this podcast. So there's that as well. So I'm feeling excited. I'm enthusiastic about the future. Things are really looking good. Now, I'm really excited about the future. So I'm happy that I'm finally shifting from the full of potential ne'er-do-well to actually finishing things that I start. And who knows, I might hit this stage again. That's another story. We'll get to that later. But in a previous life, I was a really good singer. Well, I still consider myself a good singer. It's just I don't sing as much for money anymore. I don't sing for money anymore, period. If there's one thing I want you to take from today, because I promise you I'll give you a tool that you could use today, is call a spade. And so here's the truth. Before you go from chaos to clarity, you kind of have to confront something. You have to call a spade. Like, you have to, let's say you're seeing yourself in this story. Maybe you're recognizing patterns you didn't have a name for. Maybe someone you love has been trying to tell you something, and this is all feeling kind of like, oh, snap. Maybe they're right. Maybe there is something there. And here's the thing. My issue is ADHD, but yours might be different. Like, it could be anxiety, maybe depression, and it could be something else entirely. That's not the point. The point is, the tool that I want you to use right now is that of whatever it is. If something feels off and that matters. And that's not weakness. That's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is where everything changes. You feel it. You think it. You're not sure. That's just you becoming aware. And here's the action I need for you to take. The get help action. Simple. It's not easy. Okay? You're going to have to find someone you trust. Be it a friend. Be it a family member. Be it a doctor. Is step one, acknowledge the pattern. Write the things down that keep happening to you, whatever it is. Anxiety, overwhelm, sadness, procrastination, missed deadlines, forgotten commitments, just name it, whatever it is. And then ask yourself honestly, does this feel like a character flaw, or does it feel like something else? Like, you gotta be honest with yourself. And then reach out to somebody. It could be a friend, it could be a doctor, it could be a therapist, it could be a family member, somebody you trust. Tell them what you're experiencing and ask for help. And then ask for a referral for testing. Well, this is the part where this is the doctor or the physician. It could be your primary care physician. It could be that person. Ask them to refer you for testing. And that's it. And that's the first step from chaos to clarity. It's not a productivity hack, a life hack. It's just the truth. Like, before you can get to tools and hacks, we have to get to the truth. Because here's what I know for sure. All those years I thought I was broken, I was just undiagnosed. For me, it was ADHD. For you, it could be something else. And the moment that I got tested, everything made sense. It was a relief. Things were easier. Like, it was literally like a weight off your shoulder. And you deserve that same clarity, whatever your issue is. So, my advice to you is to don't think about the systems. They'll come later. Don't think about the tools. They'll come later. Even clarity will come later. But the first step, it starts with calling a spade. And then taking action. Like, I hope this has been helpful for you. It was helpful for me. And today's action for you is to get help action. Acknowledge the pattern. Ask yourself honestly. Reach out to someone you trust and ask for help. That's how you go from chaos to clarity, one step at a time. Next week's episode, I think we're going to go with how my ADHD may have saved my life. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, take what works, leave what doesn't, and keep showing up. I'm Michael Maxwell. This is Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell. Chaos to clarity. Thank you for coming to the conversation.